Hello everyone, this is Kikoto Mani from Team GetRec Robotics, as well as a member of Team WPI. This video is going to be a little bit different, as for the first time ever, I will be talking about not one, not two, but 3 different events in one video. Over the course of about 3 weeks, my Beetleweight robot serial killer fought at the NHRL event on September 14th, the RCE event on September 28th, and then the GSCRL event on October 6th. Since these events happen so close to each other, rather than making separate videos for each of them, I decided to just combine all of them into one super event recap. First, let's talk about the September NHRL event. Something I should clarify now is that serial killer wouldn't be fighting in the main competition, but rather exhibition fights. I originally signed up for the September event with the Power of Friendship, but they got waitlisted. Fortunately, Power of Friendship did get accepted into the October NHRL event, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Regardless, even though I couldn't compete in the main competition, I decided to bring serial killer to the September NHRL event to get some exhibition fights in. I had already signed serial killer up for the RCE and GSCRL events at that point, and my plan was to use these exhibition fights as a practice run to see if there's anything I should change about the bot before it competes for real. Serial killer's first exhibition fight would be against Stingray, a very destructive horizontal spinner. Because of this, I would be putting on my anti-horizontal titanium wedge in the hopes that it would protect the bot in this fight. Stingray also had a wedge mini bot, which is why I would be putting in Flaky Boy, the 150 gram version of serial killer, and using it as my own mini bot to hopefully counter his mini bot. Now let's get into the fight. Well, things did not go well for serial killer. The biggest problem I was having in this fight was the fact that the bot just couldn't drive properly. I learned the reason why was because the large CPU box underneath the cardboard was so heavy that it put too much weight on the front of the bot, which made it harder for the wheels to get proper traction on the floor. Things would only get worse as Stingray really started to tear into serial killer. With one brutal hit, he ripped off the entire left side guard. Immediately after that, he easily tore off my left wheel since it was no longer protected by anything. If that wasn't bad enough, my right side of drive stopped working too. Amazingly, what happened was that Stingray managed to hit me so hard that the right side of drive literally unplugged from the receiver. Because of this, from now on, I will be wrapping electrical tape around all the connectors on my receiver to make sure this can't happen again. Needless to say, this was a very sad fight for serial killer. Fortunately, all the electronics were fine, and so all I need to do is put on a new wheel, and the bot will be good to go for another exhibition fight. However, I didn't bring spares of the side guards, and so serial killer would have to go into his next fight without one. Serial killer's second exhibition fight would be against Gemini, a very unique bot with both an egg beater and a lifter. Let's see how that fight goes.
3, 2, 1.
Well, that fight was interesting, but not exactly the performance I was looking for. Once again, Serial Killer struggled to work properly. The obvious problem you probably noticed was the fact that Serial Killer just couldn't bring its weapon all the way over and properly self-right for most of the match. Once again, this issue was caused by the TPU box being way too heavy. Because of how heavy it was, when I tried to self-right, I just couldn't bring enough weight forwards to get back into the right orientation, and the weapon arm just stayed on the floor. I was able to get 1 or 2 good bites on Gemini, but that was it. Overall, this fight, along with the previous one, exposed a massive design flaw in Serial Killer's weapon. That's why after the event, I immediately decided to redesign the TPU weapon arm to make it simpler and lighter, to hopefully fix the issues Serial Killer had at this event before it fought at RCE and GSCRL. Alright, so we'll be comparing the old Serial Killer weapon arm with the new one. So for the old weapon arm, you'll see that underneath the cardboard, we just have a giant layer of TPU. It's a big TPU rectangle, and you'll notice that I actually couldn't print it as one piece because it was too big. So I had it printed as multiple pieces, and then I used a soldering iron, the TPU weld everything together. The big problem, as mentioned before, is that it's simply too heavy. In fact, taking a look at it on the scale, it's over a pound, so it's pretty heavy. So the main idea for the new weapon arm was just to be minimalistic and cut down on literally everything that was not necessary, while still having it be designed well enough to grab another robot. So here's the new weapon arm. You'll see that it is so much lighter in comparison to the old one. It is so much lighter, which just solves a bunch of our problems. So yeah, hopefully this new weapon arm works out. Once I got the bot rebuilt with the new and improved weapon arm, Serial Killer was ready to fight once again. The next event for Serial Killer would be the RCE event on September 28th, which was hosted by my good friend Brian Boxall. The format for this event would be every robot gets up to 3 qualifying fights, and the 32 bots that did the best would go into a single elimination bracket. Serial Killer's first qualifying fight of the event would be against a crusher robot named Peer Pressure. This bot was actually built by one of my friends who was also a part of the WPI Combat Robotics Club. It's a very beautiful and well-designed bot, and I knew if he bit me in the right spot, I could be in serious trouble. Can Serial Killer hold its own against such an interesting opponent? Let's find out now.
In 3, 2, 1, fight, robots, fight! That's a pin! 1, 2, that's a pin!
Peer pressure disappearing in Serial Killer. When 2 become 1, that was a song.
It's a pin! 1, 2. That's a pin! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release! Release that pin. That's a pin! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need you to release. I'm gonna need you to release the pins faster.
Back and forth battling for control here. Looking to see if we can get the pin.
That's a pin! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a pin! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Serial Killer just going to disappear.
Hey, Wally.
Pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. That's a pin. 1, 2, 3, 4. The match ends in 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the match.
This all goes down to you.
Now that was a really fun match. This was one of those fights where damage wasn't really a factor, and it was more about control and aggression. For most of the fight, Serial Killer and Pressure Point were evenly matched. However, there was one scary moment in the fight where Pressure Point got the perfect bite on one of my wheels. Honestly, at that point, I thought it was all over. Fortunately, once he released, I was surprised to see that my wheel and side of drive were completely fine. From that point onwards, it was a back and forth fight, with me doing everything I could to use the cereal box to capture and control Pressure Point. I knew it was important to be aggressive in this fight, and so I made sure to never stop trying to get attacks in. It was definitely a close fight, and I'm proud to say Serial Killer was able to take the judge's decision and win the fight. Serial Killer's next qualifying fight would be against a destructive vertical spinner named Sad Octopus. Let's see if Serial Killer can get its second win in a row.
Battery coming out. Electronics coming out. Like the battery. Again for 1, 2. Alright, while you're there, check for signs of that battery coming out. This fight will resume in 3, 2, 1, fight! Stop! Wait, now the battery's out. Okay.
I gotta say, even though I lost, I was still pretty impressed by how well Serial Killer did against such a deadly opponent. It's always an uphill fight when you're a control bot fighting a vertical spinner. I knew I couldn't win on damage, but I was hopeful if I was durable enough, I could survive the hits and overwhelm the opponent over time. For the most part, I was able to do this. Serial Killer's forks did a great job getting underneath Sad Octopus, and I was able to grab him again and again. Sad Octopus did get some brutal hits in, but the TPU armor was able to absorb most of the punishment. Perhaps the closest Serial Killer got to winning was when I managed to flip Sad Octopus over and get him stuck on the wall. Fortunately for them, at the RCE event, every bot was allowed one free unstick. Unfortunately for me, after Sad Octopus got unstuck, it quickly self-righted, and it ended the fight by breaking through my top panel, which caused my battery to come out of the robot. The battery was still plugged in, and the electronics were fine, meaning I could have kept going, but the rules of this event stated that if a robot's battery got exposed, it was treated as an automatic KO in order to avoid lipo fires. Congratulations to Sad Octopus on the amazing win. They've really built a great robot. In terms of damage, the cardboard got shredded, but that's to be expected. As for the more significant damage, Sad Octopus shattered the carbon fiber top armor that hides underneath the TPU top panels, which is what allowed the battery to come out of the robot. Sad Octopus also put some decent cuts into the bottom of Serial Killer. Last but not least, they also ripped right into my right TPU side guard. Fortunately, I had enough spare parts to fix the damage, as well as extra cereal boxes and tape, meaning Serial Killer would be going into his next fight as good as new. Serial Killer's third and final qualifying match would be against a two-wheel drive egg beater named Mothership. With 1 win and 1 loss, it was very important for Serial Killer to win this fight in order to advance. Let's see if it can do that.
Fight begins in 3, 2, 1, fight!
While that fight went about as well as I could have hoped, Mothership tried its best to get some hits in, but I made sure to keep the front point towards him, and I used my forks to counter his weapon. Eventually, Mothership ran into weapon issues, and they just couldn't properly spin up the egg beater. With the main threat gone, Serial Killer was free to do what he does best: eat. Serial Killer spent the whole match getting as many grabs in as possible, and I gotta give the team behind Mothership some respect, as no matter what, they just kept going despite being at a disadvantage. Regardless, Serial Killer was able to dominate the match and easily win the judge's decision. With 2 wins and 1 loss, Serial Killer managed to qualify for the top 32 single elimination bracket as the 21st seed. Serial Killer's first fight in the bracket would be against a very dangerous hammer saw named BOINK. I knew this fight wasn't going to be easy, as while Serial Killer was designed to take on normal spinners, the bot was very vulnerable to hammer saws specifically, as they're hard to grab and control without getting hit. Not to mention, Serial Killer didn't have the best top armor, and one good hit from BOINK could break something important. That's why going into this fight, my strategy was to add as much protection to the top panels as possible. I used electrical tape to attach large pieces of TPU to the top panels. Additionally, I also added some spare metal forks from the Power of Friendship to act as even more top armor. Hopefully, all of this will be enough to protect Serial Killer from the hammer saw of BOINK. Does Serial Killer stand a chance in such a terrifying matchup? Let's find out right now.
Fight will resume in 3, 2, 1. Fight, robot, fight.
And with that, Serial Killer's run at RCE comes to an end. I gotta say, it was a pretty entertaining match that went a lot better than I expected. It's a good thing I added the extra top armor because BOINK brought down the hammer saw several times and got some pretty vicious hits in. However, to my surprise, BOINK's weapon later went down, and while he could still attack with the arm, the hammer saw itself was no longer spinning. The rest of the match was a control fight with both Serial Killer and BOINK doing their best to score points for the judges. Overall, the fight was a lot closer than I was expecting, but in the end, BOINK rightfully earned the victory. That being said, I'm still so proud of Serial Killer for never giving up despite the hits, and it really made BOINK have to fight hard for that win. With that loss, Serial Killer is officially out of the competition. The last competition I'll be talking about in this video is the GSCRL event taking place in New Jersey on October 6th. it would be a double elimination competition with several top tier Beetleweight bots competing. Luckily, it wasn't too much work getting Circular ready for that event. Alright, at time of recording, GSCRL is tomorrow, and fortunately Circular is ready to go. I didn't have to do too much preparation. Most of the bot was already done. I didn't suffer too much damage from the event last week from the RCE event that Brian was hosting. The bot's mostly good to go. It's mostly the same as it was from that event, except for two small things. One, so I'm switching to these foam wheels. The reason why is because I usually use Flex Foam 23 wheels and they're pretty good. But for some reason at the last event, the RCE event, I kept shredding the insides of my wheels in pretty much every match. And I'm not really sure why. I've never had a problem before. It's only really noticeable in the last fight against BOINK. I was down to my last pair of Flex Foam 23 wheels at that moment in time. And you even noticed that I was kind of veering to one side slightly because one of the wheels just kept slipping on the hub. And yeah, the insides of the wheels kind of just got torn up a little bit. And again, I don't know why. I never had that issue before. I don't know if like the wheels went bad. I don't know if that's something that can happen. I don't really know. The point is, I don't have time to cast new wheels. So I'm gonna just quickly switch to the foam wheels, the FingerTech foam wheels I've used in the past, and just put a bunch of latex on them. They're definitely not as good as the Flex Foam 23 wheels, but again, I was busy with school this week and I just did not have time to cast new wheels. So these will have to do. So these are just the regular FingerTech foam wheels with latex on them. So hopefully they're good enough. Also, I have new side guards. So at the September NHRL event, when Circular was very heavy, I had to lighten up on armor everywhere. So that's why I used these side guards. Now these side guards were printed at 1mm wall, 10% infill. And they were fine, but you probably noticed how they got ripped off in the Stingray fight. So after I switched to a lighter weapon, I had the weight to make the side guard thicker. So this one, the one I used at the RCE event, that's 3mm walls, 10% infill. However, even then, the bot was still kind of underweight. So this new side guard right here is 5mm walls, 10% infill. A little thing I like to do is that I usually keep things at 10% infill by default. And if I want to make them heavier, I usually just make the walls thicker. I'm pretty sure there's other ways to like do that, but that's just how I usually do. I usually have 10% infill as the standard and then just make the walls as thick as I want. But yeah, the bot is mostly the same. I went ahead and sharpened the forks because they got kind of dulled after the last event. I've sharpened them as low as I possibly can. Got some more cardboard seal boxes on there. But yeah, the bot's still good to go. There's still some damage, mostly from BOINK. So there's that right there. You can see the back. These were some hits from Sad Octopus. I didn't really have time to print an entire new body. Again, this is 1 week after the last event, but it should be good enough. So hopefully Circular can try its best and put on some good fights. So hopefully things go well. Circular's first fight at the GSCRL event would be against a vertical spinner named Vitamix. Even though I've fought plenty of vertical spinners in the past, I was actually a little bit worried going into this fight because not only did Vitamix have a particularly sharp weapon, but its TPU forks were very low to the ground. Regardless, I just had to believe that Circular could deal with the opponent and control the match. Without further ado, let's get into the fight.
All right, let's get this fight started in 3, 2, 1, fight!
Let's go, Serial Killer! I was the only one talking.
All right, Serial Killer having some problems with traction right now. Vitamix is going to try to grind away a little bit at that big Serial box. But here's the first grapple from Serial Killer. Serial Killer is looking to entrap its opponents just like that. Vitamix doing a little bit of damage. And there's a good hit from Vitamix to Serial Killer's right wheel. And again, another big hit. Serial Killer with a good chomp right now. Serial Killer having no problem sticking that chomper into Vitamix's spinning weapon. And now good pick. Vitamix pushes Serial Killer away. Vitamix is doing the thing.
Flip it.
Vitamix needs to figure out.
There we go.
There it goes. Vitamix is inverted. Meanwhile, Serial Killer trying to get its bearings. Serial Killer right here.
Get yourself on the side if you have to.
Over the ground for this particular arena. But Vitamix having some problems driving around when it's inverted. You know, it seems to do the thing, and now they're being offered.
Want to unstep?
All right, Vitamix, are you ready to resume? Ref is ready to resume. Let's get this fight resumed in 3, 2, 1, fight! Vitamix is still upside down, and yeah, every time it turns, that gyro seems to make it want to do the thing, and that's a good thing. A little bit of a grapple from Serial Killer. Serial Killer is still trying to get its way across the arena. It's just so low to the ground. It's those metal forks that are on the front of Serial Killer that seem to be getting caught in the floor right now. But, you know, that's what first fights are all about, you know, figuring out not just your bot, but how your bot interacts with the arena. Vitamix is now right side up. Its weapon is working. 30 seconds left in this fight. And a big hit, and that's a good bite from Serial Killer. Keep in mind that Chomper's not just a serial box. There's a little bit of TPU there also that helps keep the other bot caught. Okay, they're trying to separate, but we're pausing. We are pausing, so we need to unstick the two bots. They are tangled together. Zoomed in 3, 2, 1, fight! 13 seconds left in this fight, so not that much longer. There's Vitamix's weapon. It's going for just one more set of fights. Pieces of robot going all over the place. They're stuck again, but it doesn't matter because time is up. Time is up. We can unstick them as the judges make their decisions. Now,
while it may not have been pretty, Serial Killer managed to win its first fight of the event. First of all, you probably noticed Serial Killer had some issues driving. Simply put, my metal forks were way too sharp, and because the floor of the arena was damaged from previous fights, my ground scraping forks just kept hitting all the imperfections in the floor, which negatively impacted my ability to drive properly. After the match, I used a file to dull the edges of my forks and make them less sharp, which fortunately seemed to fix the issue. Luckily, despite being at a disadvantage, I was still able to control Vitamix for the most part. I noticed he was having issues with gyro and even got himself flipped over. I did everything I could to capitalize and grab with the cereal box as much as I could. At one point, I even fired a weapon right into Vitamix's spinner and got my TPU weapon arm stuck right in there, which paused the fight so we could get separated. Like usual, I knew I couldn't win on damage, but fortunately I was able to be controlled and aggressive enough to just barely win a split judge decision. I may have won the fight, but I have to congratulate the builders of Vitamix who fought hard and proved themselves to be a worthy opponent. My next fight would be against an all-star competitor in the form of Prince. Funny enough, this would actually be a rematch. Serial Killer and Prince fought each other at the December 2023 Mass Destruction event. Serial Killer was able to win that fight by taking off Prince's weapon belt, which disabled their spinner, allowing Serial Killer to control the match and get the victory. However, Prince has improved so much since then, and recently he's been doing very well and has just been destroying bots left and right. In fact, Prince no longer uses a weapon belt. Instead, it now uses a hub motor, meaning taking out the weapon would be much harder than before. Can Serial Killer beat this top tier bot for a second time, or will Prince finally get its revenge? Let's find out now.
Let's get this fight started in 3, 2, 1, fight! Prince is spun up to speed with that nasty hub motor weapon. Pieces of cereal box flying everywhere. There goes Serial Killer's teeth. But really the beef of Serial Killer's weapon is a TPU piece that's at the front. So the cereal boxes are more for show, but nevertheless, Prince is able to really give some airtime to Serial Killer. Serial Killer looking for a hit. I wonder if that arm is still working. Pieces of cereal box flying everywhere. Prince starting to spin up again. Another big hit on Serial Killer. Good survivability on Serial Killer. Good durability. And Serial Killer backhands, and I think Prince has ingested some of Serial Killer's boxes, but I think it spit it out. Yep, there goes the weapon again. The weapon is good to go. Another good hit on Serial Killer's wheel guard. That box has definitely seen better days. And now the Serial box is completely off.
He did it.
So that is Serial Killer up close and personal. I hear it's not Serial anymore, it's just a killer. So Serial Killer upside down.
Killer or be killed?
Back to back. 1 minute left in this fight. Serial Killer now sticks that TPU fork into the weapon of Prince. And now just going full melty. They can spin pretty fast. Prince able to get some good hits though, and now that arm on Serial Killer starting to be a little bit askance. Another good hit from Prince.
I'm running it really slow to get the next
30 seconds left in this fight. And another hit from the back from Prince. Serial Killer upside down. Can they self-right? Okay, pause. We're going to pause. We're going to try to unstick Serial Killer.
Why?
All right, well, one bot is moving.
Do it. Do it.
Serial Killer lined up a fight, but they flip themselves over. Can they get one last shot in? There's that one last shot. And then right.
That was honestly one of the toughest fights Serial Killer has ever had. As expected, Prince was absolutely ruthless in this match and got many brutal attacks in. In fact, early into the fight, Prince accidentally makes a punch right through the bottom of Serial Killer and break the weapon servo. This is the first time the bot has ever taken that kind of damage. With the servo destroyed, Serial Killer could no longer use its weapon. However, I didn't let that stop me from fighting back. Even without the weapon, Serial Killer still had moments where he was able to showcase control and aggression over Prince. My favorite moment of the fight was when I realized if I spun the robot really fast, I could use the broken weapon arm as a thwacking tail, and the bot turned into an improvised melty brain, which was really fun. But of course, with no working weapon, this was always going to be a tough fight to win, and Prince showed just how destructive it could be. Unsurprisingly, Prince won the judge's decision, meaning Serial Killer would move down into the loser's bracket. Serial Killer's next match would be against a beautifully designed vertical spinner named Anubis. However, Anubis suffered serious damage in the previous fight, and so for this match, it wouldn't be able to use its spinner. With that out of the way, let's get into the fight.
Are you ready? Referees, are you ready? Judges, are you ready? All right, let's get this fight started in 3, 2, 1, fight! So, at the start, a little bit tentative. Now, Anubis will not have their weapon for this fight, so this is a control bot match. And you can see Serial Killer with that big, I'm going to call it a maw. That big maw trying to ingest Anubis. And there's another good pin from Serial Killer. It's got that wide body, so it's able to make those big pins. Very good pin. Now here at GSCRL, pins are 5 seconds long unless you use your active weapon, which you can see Serial Killer is using that big maw, that big stick at the top. And because of that, they can do a 10-second pin instead of a 5-second pin.
2, 3, 4.
Serial Killer really controlling this fight, smothering driving, literally smothering with that cereal box. Anubis driving again. Briefly inverted is Serial Killer, but they're able to self-right. If they spend a little bit of time inverted, that could be an opening for Anubis to push them around. You can see that Serial box is starting to get a little askew. If Anubis can push them around and maybe push them aggressively into a wall, they could do some more damage to that rival stick.
1, 2.
So there's some more chomping from Serial Killer.
5, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Anubis pushing Serial Killer into the corner. It's good. That's good engagement, but that looks like a reversal.
6,
and now Serial Killer with the pin.
9, 10.
So they're released right now. Remember, Anubis came into this fight with no weapon, so they will not. That weapon will not be considered damaged by the judges because they declared it as a control bot. Oh, but Anubis winds up in the corner. It might be a little high-centered. Some more chomping from Serial Killer.
4, 5,
Now, can they get out of that corner is the question.
8, 9.
Yes, they can. 10 seconds remaining in this fight. Anubis briefly hung up on the side, but they're able to get out. And that's the fight. The fight is over.
And just like that, Serial Killer wins another fight. There honestly isn't a lot to talk about here. Since Anubis didn't have a working weapon, I didn't have too much to worry about, and I could just focus on grabbing him with the cereal box. By the way, if it wasn't already obvious, at this point I was running out of cardboard cereal boxes to use. Anyways, Serial Killer did a good job controlling the match and grabbing Anubis, which allowed it to be victorious with the judges and move on to the next round. My next fight would be my most difficult by far, as I would be fighting Sir Spinny. Now at first glance, Sir Spinny may look like a normal fingertech egg beater, but it is so much more than that. This is a bot that's been designed to hit as hard and as fast as possible, not to mention it has an amazing driver. Sir Spinny has done very well at many events, and it's very good at winning fights. This wasn't going to be an easy match, but I was hoping if I kept the front point towards Sir Spinny, I could use my forks to defend against his egg beater and get the upper hand. Can Serial Killer pull off the upset? Let's find out now.
Started in 3, 2, 1, fight! You see how fast that spin up is on Sir Spinny. Just a second or two and it's up at full speed. And it's taken the fight to Serial Killer. Serial Killer looking for a munch. And that's what they got. Nom, nom, nom. In that corner.
8, 9,
and because they're using an active weapon to pin, they get a full 10-second pin. If they weren't using their active weapon, it would only be a 5-second pin. Serial Killer briefly upside down. Sir Spinny was briefly upside down. They have self-righted. This is a hard fight for a bot like Sir Spinny because Serial Killer is so wide. And those forks on Serial Killer, not just the TPU forks, but the Mel forks in the middle, like Sir Spinny can hit those all day and they're not going to damage Serial Killer. But that's what Sir Spinny wants to do. They want to get to the back of Serial Killer, maybe even get to Serial Killer's arm. If they can do that, that can really change things. Oh, a little bit of duct tape, that precious duct tape armor that Serial Killer uses. You can see the cereal box wobbling a bit, but behind that cereal box is a TPU shovel that really is the majority of that arm. So the cereal box is part of it, but not the whole thing. Sir Spinny getting a lot of good hits in. One of the secrets of driving a kinetic bot like Sir Spinny is you have to drive it like a control bot and try to control the match, smother the opponent. But there's some good smothering action from Serial Killer. Excellent pin. This fight's been back and forth.
9, 10, release.
Sir Spinny has been getting some big hits in and has chewed up that cereal box. But in terms of functional damage, well, I think they took out a little bit of Serial Killer's TPU. I think that guard from the front of the bot, you can see the right side is a little chipped up. But that's right now not very functional damage. It's really more ablative damage, I'd say. Another hit. Oh, and Serial Killer has inhaled the cereal box.
That ends in 10.
10 seconds remaining.
8, 7,
And aggressive
6,
tapping
5,
from the top.
3, 2, 1.
And that's the fight.
This fight was so much fun. The whole match was a good back and forth throwdown with Sir Spinny getting some pretty great hits in every now and then. However, Serial Killer was able to get in some good attacks of its own and put Sir Spinny on the back foot a few times in the match. I gotta say, I was very happy with the durability of the bot. No matter how many times Serial Killer got hit, it never stopped working. Now that being said, Sir Spinny fought just as hard. The bot kept being aggressive and never slowed down. It was a very close fight, but in the end, Sir Spinny earned the victory and won the match with a split judge decision. With that second loss, Serial Killer is eliminated from the event, but I can at least be happy knowing it didn't go down without a fight. Alright, so here's Serial Killer after G-Scroll. Although I guess the name's kind of misleading since there aren't really a lot of cereal boxes on Serial Killer anymore. They all got torn off. So it's pretty much just Killer now, I guess, which isn't as funny. Regardless, so Serial Killer clearly went through a lot, as you can see. Here's where I had to fix the TPU arm. As you can see, I just welded some TPU there to fix it. There's several gashes here. Some of that's from the event before that, the RCE event. Some of it is new damage from the G-Scroll event. And Serial Killer has just been abused over the past 3 weeks. Here's one of the side guards. A little bit of a split here, but not too bad. But of course, the biggest damage was to the bottom of the robot. So right about here, you can see where I welded more TPU to fix the damage that Prince did when they punched right through my bottom. But Sir Spinny did all of this. So yeah, Sir Spinny did a lot of damage to the bottom of the robot. Honestly, it's impressive that I survived that long. In fact, you can see the layer lines of the TPU that they ripped through. They just shredded. And also, you can actually see a hole in the TPU. They were so close to hitting my drive motor. You can see the motor can spinning with that hole where they just ripped through my whole bottom. So yeah, Sir Spinny is a very, very destructive robot. The team has made a very dangerous bot, and I gotta give them a bunch of respect. So yeah, Sir Spinny is an absolutely dangerous robot. They're gonna go far. In fact, Sir Spinny actually got 3rd place at G-Scroll, which makes sense. So yeah, great robot. But yeah, functionally, the bot's totally fine. Like, I could turn it on right now to be good. All the electronics are completely fine. And I'm just happy that Serial Killer was able to take the abuse from all of those very destructive robots. Prince, by the way, Prince got 1st place at G-Scroll. So my only losses at G-Scroll were to Prince, who got 1st place and won the whole thing, and Sir Spinny, who got 3rd place. And Serial Killer managed to survive against both of them. So yeah, I'm really proud of Serial Killer for being the durable bot that it is today. And yeah, Serial Killer has been through a lot over the past 3 weeks, but no matter what, it just kept going. And that marks the end of the video. In general, it's been a wild ride having so many fights with Serial Killer over the course of only 3 weeks. Despite how little time there was in between events, I really feel like the bot got better and better with each and every fight. When I look back on where Serial Killer started and where it is now, I really am just amazed at what the bot has turned into. Serial Killer started off as just a joke robot made out of a trash bin, cardboard, and spare electronics. However, over the years, Serial Killer has slowly evolved and improved into a durable control bot that is loved by so many amazing fans. Serial Killer doesn't look like a dangerous robot, but that won't stop him fighting as hard as it can in every match. Whether it wins or loses, Serial Killer is a bot I can always trust to put on an entertaining match, and I will always love it for that. Serial Killer may not be the best robot, but it's my robot, and I wouldn't trade it in for anything else. Serial Killer has been through a lot, and he'll be taking a well-deserved break, but don't worry, Serial Killer will be back. Thank you so much to everyone for watching till the end. This was by far the longest video I've ever made, and I really appreciate anyone who's willing to watch the whole thing. It really means a lot. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.